Welcome to Construction Champions Podcast, where we are burning the house down and rebuilding it twice a week. I'm your host, Ron Nussbaum, and I am here to help you become the champion that you're meant to be. Along with our amazing guests along the way, we will provide you with the resources, the latest and greatest. You will sit down with disruptors in the construction industry. And my goal from day one has always been to change the mindset around the construction industry. No more where we let the 3% of bad apes dictate the entire reputation of your life. We mean everything around you that is not championship caliber. We're burning to the ground and we are rebuilding it. I'm super excited for today's guest. I've had some time. I've had some time. I always got time, but I have spent some time with Paul. We've gotten to know each other. He is an amazing man with a great reputation throughout the construction industry and just business in general. Paul, it is great to have you here today.
Thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate it.
Why don't you take a minute, tell all the construction champions out there a little bit about yourself and kind of, I guess, what got us here to today?
Okay, well, I've been a coach in the construction industry for 40 years. Get that one, 40 years. I've worked with over 1,500 companies, maybe up to 2,000. I've lost track. I have like 150,000 hours of coaching people. I've learned a lot in that time, right? I've learned what works and what doesn't work. And I've worked with a lot of contractors, but a lot of companies, $1 million to 10, 15 million, done it 100 times. And I always use the same formula, same thing. It's not magic. It's, how do you get in shape? You eat right and exercise. Pretty simple. But getting people to do it's tough. So I think, I'm excited about the champion thing because there's not a lot of champions out there. I'll be honest, they're rare, but when they show up, they're awesome. So I'm doing that in about 3-4 years ago. The problem I had was contractors. I could get a business 1 to 10 million. I'm really good at marketing. I'd say, go visit architects. I have a plan for marketing. They do it. Every time they did it, it worked. Never missed. The problem was when they build the business, they couldn't find the people. And so I had a problem was I'd build these businesses. And they go, look, we're booked 8 months in advance, 10 months in advance. And, I don't need any more. I can't find any people. I can't even get built what I got, on my backlog. So I don't want to sell anymore. I'm done. Right. I need people. I went, how hard can that be? Come on. So I went, found some good recruiting software, some applicant tracking systems, some sort of the state of the art stuff. I've been dragging contractors through technology for 40 years. I remember when a cell phone was something unique. I remember the first time to contractors, they said, I'm not going to use a cell phone. It disturbs my peace of mind in the truck. No cell phones. And then there was email. Email was a fad, it'd go away. No big deal. And then there was, fax machines. Websites are a big one. I don't need a website. I do a good job. I show up on time. I treat my people well. Who needs a website? So I do the latest construction management software, right? I don't need Builder, Train, Co-Construct, Procore, any of those guys. I'm good. I'll use Excel spreadsheets. No problem, right? And even stuff like, BuilderComp, who needs a communication system for God's sakes, So I've been dragging contractors through technology for 40 years, literally. And the latest one's AI, ChatGPT is awesome. There's all this stuff. They go, no, Skynet, I'm not into it. It's going to take the planet. It was crazy, right? So I have a history of many guys my age are still in this business, right? So drug them through. It was been tough, but I've learned a lot. Tell you, all these hours, I've learned a lot about what makes a good contractor in one stud, and I'd be happy to share any of that with you. You want to, sir? You just need me.
I'm excited. Listeners, did you hear 40 years of not just industry knowledge, but 40 years of helping develop guys in the industry like that? That's not just 40 years of building one business in one sector. That's 40 years of just being in the construction industry, watching it grow and helping others grow. So I'm really excited to dive into this. I'm going to ask the $1 million question. That is, what makes a construction champion?
Is communication chaos holding your construction business back? Emails, texts, and generic tools weren't built for your business. BuilderComms delivers a platform built for construction. Fully branded, custom workflows, and seamless integration, all designed to fix communication for good. From our free forever plan to your own custom solution, we make construction software not suck. Ready to transform your business? Book your free strategy call today.
Well, a big thing is you've got to be willing to work harder on yourself than you are on your business. I remember one time one of those defining moments for me, and I've got kids, doesn't matter, but I was in the store with my son, and he had a bunch of his friends in the back seat, and they said, "Mr. Sanneman, you're very successful. We make a lot of money, have a lot of fun. We're going skiing. This is all really cool stuff. How do you do it?" I said, "No problem. I can tell you some books you need to read. How to win friends and influence people. There's a bunch of books out there. Why don't you read these books?" They go, "Nah, I ain't got time to read books." I went, "Dude, anybody who's been successful has written a damn book about it. And right now, you don't even have to read the book. You can listen to it on Audible when you're driving around your truck, or you can watch it on video on YouTube. All the information is there that you need to succeed, and it's free or close to free. But the problem is people are too busy earning a living to make any money."
How do we get out of that mindset as an industry? Like you said, we don't have a lot of champions out there. I feel like we're building some champions, but how do we start to change that mindset to get out of that earning a wage?
Well, first place is you've got, again, work harder on yourself. What does that look like? Could be meditation, could be exercise, could be reading positive books. It could be listening to people who are successful. There's all that information out there. But unfortunately, people would rather watch the news, which is why the world is tanking, than watch a video on how to be successful.
I would agree with that. I mean, it's all what you put in up here. It's what you put in your mind is what you're going to get out.
I have this diagram I use, and I wrote my book called Contractor Success Tips, and I did a bunch of illustrations. But my view of the world is there is energy. I'm a big, Nissan Harriman, quantum physics, mechanical, but there is energy out there. Dark matter is energy. That energy, I'm going to use the analogy of a film strip and a movie strip, right? Okay, so you've got energy, which is God, consciousness, the force, some driving force out there, pretty indifferent, but it is driving the universe, right? Like a light bulb in a film strip, right? And then you've got what I consider the film strip, which is how you differentiate that energy. That's your mind. That's what you think all day, right? I mean, everything starts in the mind. Like any room you build, anything you're looking around you right there, anything, Ron, that you're looking at started somewhere, right? Started in somebody's mind. It all starts in your mind, including being a champion or building a big construction business. It starts in your mind. You have to write it down. And then next is the lens. To me, that's emotion. If you're not emotionally committed to something, forget it. It's just an idea. So you've got, like, if the film strip analogy, you've got the light bulb, you've got the film strip, you've got the lens, and you have reality out here, like the screen, right? The problem is people try to mess with the screen. You can't fix the screen. It's already here. You have to start with what created the screen, which is what's in your mind, right? So if you're going around all the day saying, life sucks, or whatever, your mind will, whether you think you're wrong, you're right, your mind will make that work, right? So if you're going around and you're thinking, oh, it's hard, I can't find any people. Perfect analogy, okay? 2 contractors. I'm working with both of them. One guy and they're doing remodeling contracts, they're doing 3 million, wherever they are, they're like 3 blocks from each other. Contractor A says, I have all these amazing people. I got this awesome team. To me, what makes a champion is a guy who has the ability to build a great team. So anyhow, he's out here and he can find all these good people, and people are attracted to him. He's a great leader. He has high integrity. He's in good shape. He's like a person people want to follow. All the people he wants keep showing up. Maybe a block down the street, we have the victim guy, right? Can't find any good people. All employees suck. They don't show up on time. They're really hard to deal with. If it wasn't for employees, this would be an easy thing to do, et cetera. So guess what? He doesn't find anybody. and he has a heck of a time finding any good employees, where the guy who's 3 blocks away has all the awesome employees he wants. What's the difference? In the head, right? One guy, as you said, is a champion and people want to follow the champion. The other guy's sort of a loser. No offense. And who wants to play with a loser, right? It's not fun. So I've seen this happen over and over again. And yet, in working with people, pretty much, how do you build a good construction business? In my opinion, one of the things is if you're building and remodeling, you meet with architects, you've got to build a great team, you have to have good systems. All that's out there. But most people have what they want in life or an excuse. Unfortunately, most people have a lot of excuses. So I would say the champion doesn't have any excuses. That makes sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I would agree with that. And I think, we can dive into some hiring and stuff here too, because I think that's a mindset thing around the entire industry. I've had this conversation on here. You do it at a high level. You seem like you have success bringing people in. I think it's just something that is always there for people to complain about. I remember over a decade ago when I came into the industry, it was a labor problem. And now it's the same thing. And you just keep hearing the same thing, because I think it was exactly what you just said is like, that's a complaining point. That's an easy thing to fall back on, because if you're in the construction industry and you're not having success, it's easy to say, oh, I can't find the right people, because everybody's like, oh, well, I can imagine that. But it is a mindset thing. Like, we allow that to be the roadblock.
The key to construction business, in my opinion, is having great employees and great clients. If you have great clients and you have great employees, this business is awesome. If you have not so good clients and you have not so good employees, this business is hell. Your clients don't pay you, they're complaining, they're terrible, your employees don't show up, it's really bad. So this business is terrible. So the question is, how do you get good clients and how do you get good employees? It's not that tough. Getting good clients consists of having some reasonable marketing. For God's sakes, there's a ton of in fact, I just learned from a coach I was interviewing about some cool marketing techniques. He says, if you're in Phoenix, don't go after Phoenix, you'll lose. He says, but if you have a block in Phoenix, like, a housing tract, they need what you need, and they need kitchen remodels, whatever, because their houses are all falling apart. And that neighborhood, focus on that neighborhood. You can go door to door, you can geofencing of your, social media. There's a lot, but just work on that, half a mile radius. Don't try Phoenix, because you get killed. And when you think about it, if you just work on that one little area, you can market the hell out of it. You can do things the big guys can't go door to door. They can't do it. So marketing is an art, and as well as a science, and you can figure out how to do it. So there's a lot of guys that can show you how to get those good clients. They're out there. Okay, so you got good clients. Next question, how do you find good employees? I figured it out. It took me a little while to figure it out, but you have to actually find, you've got to use the way to get to you've got to use LinkedIn, Facebook. Our ATS goes to 280 job boards. Any place on the planet you can find somebody, we will find them. All right. So you have to got to go out and look for the people. Got to get all those people to apply. Once they apply, you need to screen them. You use assessments. I think one of the best assessments in the market. You test them. You make sure they're the right person psychologically. There's a lot of tools out there that are available that let you know this person is the absolute right person you psychologically. We profile people. We take an assessment of your best carpenter or your best project manager. We can match those profiles. So we know psychologically this person has got the right mindset for we can even test integrity, honesty. All that stuff's testable. So we can assess all that before we talk to the guy or lady, right? And then we do a video interview. We check out the video interview. We say to the right person. We ask all the right questions. We can see what they look like, they act like, talk like. We do reference checks. We do background checks. All the things you would normally do if you've got a good HR department to find the right guy or girl. When you find that person, we find them 70%. They stick for a year or 2 years. But unfortunately, most contractors put an ad in Indeed. They call the guys a week later. They're desperate. If the guy has a warm body and looks like he's not going to screw things up, they hire him. They find out later He lies occasionally, shows up work occasionally, which becomes the world's worst employee, because what happens is everybody drops to his level, right? So, I don't have to be here till 8:15 because he turns 15. I can lie occasionally because he lies occasionally. And so you set you sort of lower your standard of the whole value structure of the company. It all drops down. There's nothing worse than the worst employee. Not bad enough to fire, not good enough to keep. They're horrible. And they bring the whole organization down. But because most people don't take the time and the effort to find the right people, to build the right team. I mean, just think of any sports team. I was watching a video last night about Becker. Manchester recruits kids at 10, right? For football, right? And they groom them. And by the time they're 17, they're playing. They spent a whole lot of time building at that time, one of the best teams in the world. But they did it through they have scouts. They do a lot of effort in building that team. They don't take the first guy that says, hey, I play soccer, sign me up. Doesn't happen. That's how they build a great team. Let's get a football team, right? It's no different in building a construction team. You've got to look for those people. You always got to be looking for good people. You have to find the right people. You've got to assess them. You've got to use good procedures to make sure that those people deserve to be on your team. And admittedly, most contractors just don't do it. And then they suffer because they have these marginal teams that make life really hard.
Yeah, because in my experience, it's really hard to have good customers if you don't have a good staff. Those two kind of go hand in hand. Even if you invest in getting good customers, you're not going to keep them around if you don't have the A players. And I mean, what you said makes so much sense. Is we expect to find the diamond in the rough, but we're barely dusting off the dirt that's on top of the rocks. When
you look at most construction companies, they don't have a marketing budget. They don't have a recruiting budget. And we charge, a couple $1,000 a month, and we should find people 3 months. So let's say we find a guy and it costs you all in maybe $5,000 or $6,000. The wrong employee is going to cost you $50,000 easy. And employees are not, an expense, they're an investment. You can't build a company without a great team. Just won't happen. And building a great team takes a lot of effort, and you've got to use whatever technology you got, whatever, people you can help build a team. And if you have a great team and you also have the great marketing, get great clients, awesome business. But again, what makes a champion? Somebody who has great clients and a great team.
Yeah, because you can't sustain. And typically, they're wrong. I loved your analogy earlier about bringing in the wrong guy and what that actually does to your organization. Even if that wrong guy is only there for a little bit, it's going to bring everybody down. And if they hang out for more than a little bit, your best players are going to leave, which is the real loss. And I love how you address that, and then also talk about being able to go out and find the same kind of players that already fit in your system. Which, if we look at this from a professional sports standpoint, they go out and they find players that fit in the system and fit with the players that are there. And that's how these championship teams are built. They're not built by accident. I think that's the big misconception when it comes to professional sports is this stuff just accidentally comes together. No, there's a lot of money that's spent to figure out who are the right people to have around the right people. It's why you have some of these super teams that don't end up doing anything because it wasn't the right fit.
Right. To use your example, some people, are playing like a star guy carries a team. Other players, it's a team that matters, right? It's got to be the team. And so, unfortunately, in construction, you can't have a star player because even if a guy can frame your board and door better than anybody else, they're going to help you, right? So you've got to build a team. And that's something, when you think about it, how much time do contractors saying, my mission is to build the best remodeling team in, Connecticut or wherever the heck it is, right? They say, my job was to make a lot of money and survive. That's a different thing, right? So champions build great teams. They're not concerned about money as much as building the right team. Because if you build the right team and you have the right clients, money is a byproduct of that. I've got guys that, a good contractor I know will probably do 10, 15 million at $1 million, but he focuses on his team and his marketing and his clients. He doesn't focus on the money.
I love it. I mean, I think there's a lot of magic in what you've said today, and there's just a lot of brutal facts as well for guys to be able to go look at. And it's 40 years of knowledge, man. I love it. I absolutely love it. So if any of the construction champions out there wanted to reach out to you, wanted to talk to you, follow you, look into your guys' business, where's the best places for them to do that?
The best way is Contractor Success Tips. That's my podcast, right? I'm starting to, I got confused there. I went with my podcast instead of my company. So it's Contractor Staffing Source, and just contractorstaffingsource.com. You go there, you can book a meeting with me. You can see what we do and that kind of thing. And I'll be happy to, one of our models is we'll show you how to do it yourself. But a lot of people, when we show them how to do it themselves, they go, wow, this is way too much. You're going to have us do it. But I got no problem in explaining to any contractor the steps he needs to go through to build his own team. But he's got to do these. He's got to have a good applicant tracking system. He has a good assessment system. He has to have somebody able to work on that. He's got to get back to people in hours, not days. He's got to use all the platforms, not just one platform. There's a lot of basics that a contractor needs to do to build a great team. I'll tell them what they are. If they want to do it themselves, hallelujah, go for it. If they want us to do it, that's fine. A lot of people, when they learn how hard it is, that's where they choose us. They go, nah, but it's a system and it works, and I'll tell you what it is. So just, go to contractorstaffingsource.com, just book an appointment with me, and I'll be happy to explain it to you.
Awesome, Paul. Well, it's been fantastic having you on the show today.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
All right, construction champions. It don't matter where you're at in your business, you probably should just reach out to Paul there. I mean, he just said, according to it, he'll teach you how to do it. You might not want to do it, which is a lot of things, but he has nothing to hide. I love that. Like, that's what the industry is about, is having nothing to hide. He understands he can do it at a level that nobody else can do it at. And there's nothing wrong with that, because for a lot of you guys out there listening, you can probably do your craft better than anybody else. And you'll teach somebody else how to do that, but they'll never do it as good as you. I think we, as an industry, we have to start to understand that there's other services, there's other people out there that are experts at this stuff, and they are here to help us. They want us.
Comment.
Yeah, go ahead, jump in there.
Is it a contractor, they will hire an electrician, they'll hire a plumber, they'll outsource, they'll hire an accountant, right? For some reason, they all think they're brilliant at marketing and recruiting. I don't get it. Like, come on, dudes. You hire somebody who knows more than you with every other profession. Why don't you go with marketing and recruiting and hire people that know better than you do and can do a better job? Because they're already doing with all the subcontractors. They wouldn't think of doing all their own subcontractor stuff. It's the same.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm right there with you, Paul. I mean, I believe the same thing, is that it's all about finding the experts and then being willing to bring them in and listen to what they have to say. And, that can be hard no matter where you're at in your life. I literally just set up a 45-minute call with a coach that I know before this to spend some time with him. Like, that's just part of it. Like, we don't always have it all figured out. And we might be really, really close, but you need somebody else that can come in with a different set of eyeballs and kind of pick out where the problems lie. And, some of the first stuff I ever did, like, I built software now. As I came from the construction industry and I have software. The first thing I did was went and found somebody that knew how to build damn software.
Right. I mean, Josh, one of the things is that I heard a great saying, a smart man learns from his own mistakes. A wise man learns from the mistakes of others.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's really true. So I've made a lot of mistakes in 40 years, and I've literally done a lot. I've spent millions of dollars on marketing. I've worked with like 1,500 companies, so I know what people do right and what they do wrong. So learn from others' mistakes so you don't have to make them.
I love it, man. So, construction champions, until next time, be the champion you were meant to be.
Unlock the potential of property intelligence with HomeTrack. In seconds, generate over 250 data points from a single address using advanced imaging and public data. Streamline property assessments efficiently, saving both time and resources. Enhance your decision-making today. Experience the future of property insights. Engage with HomeTrack now.
Tired of losing track of promising leads? Struggling to convert inquiries into contracts? Build 12 is your solution. Over 30 years of industry expertise tailored for contractors ensures seamless lead management and nurturing. Boost your closing rate with ease. Experience the efficiency today. Download Build 12 and supercharge your business growth. Don't wait. Act now.